Using the Form Builder tool, HRWize allows you to create several different types of forms that can be completed electronically, and the data is stored in HRWize, eliminating the need for paper files. To create a form, we must go to Administration, Company, and then Form Builder. We can also go to Administration, HR, and then Form Builder. Here we can see listed any forms that we've already created. These are forms that are active. They are either in use or ready to be used. Click here to view any forms that have been already created but are not yet ready to be used. These are inactive forms. Just as we can with documents, we can organize our forms by creating form categories. We can click here to add a new category, giving it a name with a description if necessary. We're not going to be creating a new category, so we'll click on Cancel. Going back to our form builder, we can create a new form by clicking on the Add button. First, we'll give the form a name and a description if necessary. Then you can choose your form type. One of the many knowledge articles that we have available is one that explains the Form Builder form types with information about each form type and how they can be used. 360 feedback forms are designed for peer-to-peer review scenarios. They can, if you wish, be anonymous so the employee's name will not appear alongside any of the responses. Other forms are generic and can be used for any general forms with the data that needs to be recorded within the system and made accessible to use via the main menu. Performance improvement forms can be completely customized and electronically published to whoever needs to complete the form. Performance improvement forms are stored within the Performance module. Performance review forms are appraisal forms that can be electronically published to employees to complete and return to their manager. These forms are stored within the Performance module. Return to work forms collect further information of the employee, followed by a period of sickness absence, and to ensure that the employee is fit to return to work. Return to work forms are linked with a time-off type, such as sickness. Self-certification forms are completed by the employee as part of an instance of absence. They are linked to a time-off type, such as sickness. Survey forms are published to all employees within the system, and they can be set to either require the name of the employee or can be returned anonymously. Training feedback forms can be created and electronically published to employees for them to complete on their return from a training course. First, let's take a look at how to create and use a 360 feedback form. In the Form Builder, here's one we've already created. First, we'll click on the Edit action. We've given the form a name, and the form type is 360 feedback. This time, we decided to not make this form anonymous. A form can be used on its own, or it can be triggered by a workflow, or trigger a workflow. And this form is active. So now we can submit to save the changes, or click on Cancel. Now we want to look at the form itself. To do this, we need to go to the Form Builder action. But as you can see, the Form Builder action is not available, and this is because the form has already one or more responses, as you can see here. So to view the form in the Form Builder, we'll need to view a copy with no responses, or you can click here to delete all form responses. Before deleting though, you can click here to download the form data. But in this case though, we'll delete all form responses. So now, we can see that we can click on the Form Builder action. On the right here, you can see form with 3 fields. The first field requires a response on a scale of 1 to 5, so as the second one. When you see a question mark icon here, additional information is provided to help you understand the purpose of this field and how to use it. And the last field is completed yes or no. Each field has an edit action. Clicking on this action allows us to see the properties of this field on the left side of your screen. We can see the field display label. We can choose whether or not to make this field mandatory, or in other words, a response is or is not required. Then we select what type we want the field to be. One of the many knowledge articles we have available is one which provides information on form builder field types. Here you can see a description of the field types available. Sliding the Show Advanced options, we can see the database field name. This is where the data for this field is stored in a database table and can be used for reporting. The information in the question mark icon comes from here in the field description. And here we can set our field order to position where we want our field to appear in the form. If we made any changes to the fields, we can click on Update. However, we haven't made any changes, so we'll click on Finish Building Form. And we are back to our list of active forms. Now let's take a look at how to use this form. Let's go to Performance, 360 Feedback, and here is a list of employees we've already requested and received 360 feedback. To create a new request, we click on Add. First, from the drop-down here, you select the name we want a feedback on. Then from the Recipients field, enter the name or names of the recipients we want a feedback to be from. In the expiry date, select the date we want a feedback by. And then here, we can select and use our 360 feedback form we've created previously by choosing Custom in the Question Choice option, and then choose the form we want to use. And when we're done, we click on Submit. And we can see the feedback request has been successfully added. Now we're going to log in as the employee who will provide the 360 feedback. Here in the Notice section, we can see and click on the Requested 360 feedback. And now we can complete the form. Referring when necessary to the additional information that we have provided in the field description. And then selecting a value from the drop-down list. Completing each field until finally selecting Yes to say we have completed the form. And then clicking on Submit to save and submit the feedback. Now the feedback has been successfully submitted. We can click on Cancel. Now logging in as the admin or HR level access user, we can go to Performance and 360 Feedback. And here you can see the 360 feedback completed by the employees. If required, you can click on this action here to add additional recipients to the feedback on this employee. Click here to change the date the feedback is required by. Or here to download the data that has been collected. This is downloaded in a CSV file, which can be easily opened and viewed in a spreadsheet application, such as Microsoft Excel. Now let's take a look at a form using the other form type. We'll go to Administration, Company, and then Form Builder. Once again, listed here we have the active forms, which are either in use or ready to be used. We can see here the allergies form, which has a category of medical confidential. We can click here to take a look at the form categories we've created or add new ones. Clicking on the edit action, we can look at the properties for this category. And in this case, this category only has a name, so we'll click on cancel and cancel again. Now we return to our form builder again by going to Administration, Company, and then Form Builder. We're going to look at this allergy form listed as Other Form, and we'll click on the Edit action. This form has a name and a description if required. The form type is Other, and the form is visible to employees. From the form category, we've selected Medical Confidential. The form is going to trigger a workflow, which in this case is also called allergies. And the status of the form is active. We'll click here to view the fields of the form. We can do this because there are no responses in this form. Now once again, we can see it is a relatively simple form with just few fields. But notice we've included our company logo. Clicking on the edit action here, we can see that we have it made mandatory. The employee can update the field, and the field type is select dropdown. And then we've created our comma-separated list of values to use in our dropdown list. In here, we've added a field description to help the employee when completing this field on this form. We've also added a multi-line text field where the employee can provide more information about the allergy. And at the bottom of the screen, if required, we can specify the minimum and maximum number of characters required to enter in this field. And then here, in our employee completed field, the field type is workflow step completed. This is when the employee completes the form, this will trigger the allergies workflow. To save any changes made in any of our fields, we click on Update. In this case though, we haven't made any changes to our form, so we'll click on Finish Building Form. And then we're back to our list of active forms. Now let's take a look at what happens when an employee completes this form. To access this form, the employee goes to Forms on the side menu. Here are the forms available for the employee to use. The allergies form is available in the Medical Confidential category. The employee then clicks on Add Action of the form. As you can see, their name is already entered. From the Allergy 1 dropdown, which is mandatory, the employee can select an allergy. They can also add more information in the other allergy multi-line text box. And then select Yes to say that the employee has completed the form. And then click on Submit to finish. And you can see the allergies form has been successfully submitted. So now we click on Cancel to finish. Returning to the form, the employee can click on the View action here, followed by the View action or Edit actions to view or edit their completed form. When the employee selected Yes to workflow step completed, this triggers the workflow. A notification email has been sent to the HR mailbox telling them that the employee has updated their allergies. The HR Access Level user can go to Forms, the Medical Confidential category, and then can click on the View Data action to see the data of this form. This action, you can also download the data in a CSV file format that can be used to update the allergy record for the employee. They can update the allergy record by going to People, Employees, locate the employee you want to update the record on, and then you click on the medical action. We can then click on Add to update the allergy information as required, followed by a Submit to finish. The HR Access Level user can go to Forms, the Medical Confidential category, and then can click on the View Data action to see the data of this form. This action, you can also download the data in a CSV file format that can be used to update the allergy record for the employee. They can update the allergy record by going to People, Employees, locate the employee you want to update the record on, and then you click on the medical action. We can then click on Add to update the allergy information as required, followed by a Submit to finish. Now we'll take a look at a survey form. Once again, we'll go to Administration, HR, and then Form Builder. Our survey form isn't listed here, so we'll click on the Inactive Forms. We're looking for the Fall 2020 Party Survey form. First, we'll click on the Edit action. We've given the form a name, and the form type is Survey. Survey forms have an expiry date, and we have entered the 1st of October 2020. Our form is not anonymous because we want to know who the responses are from. And currently, the status of our form is inactive. Since there are no responses on our form, we can click on the Build Form action. This is just a simple form with just 2 fields. We have our logo and some text in different sizes and color. In here, we've selected Select dropdown as our field type with some comma-separated values. Now that we have not made any changes in this form, we're going to go ahead and click on Finish Building Form. Remember that the status of our form was inactive, so we must go back to the inactive forms, locate the form, and this time we click on the Set Active action, followed by an OK. And then as we can see, our survey form is now active. This survey form will automatically now appear in the Notices section for all of the HRWize users to complete. To access the responses, we go to Administration, HR in this case, and then Form Builder. And from the Actions column here, we can click on Download Form Data action, followed by an OK. And now the data is downloaded in a CSV file format, which we can open in a spreadsheet application, such as Microsoft Excel. Now we're going to take a look at a performance review form. First, we'll go to Administration, HR, and then Form Builder. And here we can see our performance review form. First, let's click on the Added action. We've given the form a name. The form type is Performance Review, and the form is visible to employees. The form applies to all job roles, current and future, and the form status is active. Since there are no responses on this form, we can go ahead and click on Build Form. Listed here, there are more than different field types on this form from the ones that we have seen previously. Let's click on the Edit action to take a look at this field type. This field is an accordion, and we can enter content in the values property in which the user can expand the view or hide as required. And in this form, the employee cannot view or update this field. We haven't made any changes to our fields, so we'll go ahead and click on Finish Building Form. Now we want to make this form to be made available to our employees to complete, so we'll click on Publish Form for Employees' action, followed by an OK. From the Selection Method dropdown, you can either select Employees or Metadata, but this time we'll select Employees. You can select all employees or one or more employees. And then you click on the Publish action, and then we can see that the form has been successfully published. The employee or employees will receive a notification email telling them that their performance review is now ready for completion. Logging in as an employee, they can go to Self-Service, My Development, and then My Reviews. Here the employee can see that the form is ready for completion. Now to complete this form, they can click on the Complete Form action right here. As previously mentioned, the employee cannot see the instructions for Manager's accordion. And if you've noticed, some of the fields are grayed out because they are only available for the manager to complete. So now we'll let the employee complete her part of the form. The employee can select Yes to say that they have completed the part of the form. Now followed by a Submit, we can see that the performance review has been successfully submitted. Now once submitted, the form is now only available to view and not to edit. The employee has completed their parts of the form, so now it's the turn for the manager to complete their parts of the form. The employee's manager can go to Performance and then Review Forms. In here, they can click on the Edit action for the performance review form of Angela Martin. You can see here that the manager is now able to see the instructions to Manager's accordion, and these are not visible by the employee. To help the manager complete their part of the form, we have also included goals, role competencies, reviews, and social recognition for this employee. So now the manager can complete their parts of the form.